Alright, today guys we're going to be building on our lesson from last time on matrices, and we're going to start off by talking about and finding the inverse matrix. So an inverse matrix will notate with, like, for example, a to the negative 1. And to find that, we will simply put that in our matrix in our calculator just like we have been, and then we will raise it to a negative 1. So there's a button on your calculator that looks, it's actually the matrix button, so the one that you push second matrix, it's the x to a negative 1. You're going to simply select your matrix that you've entered and then push that button and hit enter, and it should give you your inverse matrix. So go ahead and try that for number 1. When you're done, go ahead and check your answer. It should be 1/5, 0, negative 5/3, and negative 1. Okay. This applies to all square matrices, 2x2s, 3x3s, so on and so forth. Now, so go ahead and try number 2, our B matrix. Enter B into your calculator, and when you do that and you again push your x to the negative 1 button, you should get this as your inverse matrix. Which is great, Coach Keith. Why are you teaching us this? Well, the reason we're learning this is because we're about to use it to solve matrix equations. Okay? So, of course, not all matrices, if you'll see as in number 3, can be have an inverse. C does not have an inverse because the top two numbers are both 0, basically meaning that there is nothing there. Okay? So it's undefined. Alright, go ahead and try number 4. Multiply. Since we just learned how to multiply matrices, we're going to multiply A by its inverse. So when you do that, you type it in your calculator just like this, A times A to the negative 1, and you should get 1, 0, 0, 1. This is called an identity matrix. Okay? Try B. B times its inverse at B to the negative 1 is 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. Okay? Now, that being said, okay, when you multiply a matrix by its inverse, you get your identity matrices. Okay? Or its identity matrix. Those of you who are interested in programming, this comes into play, or anything having to do with software in coding, in binary code, you'll recognize it. So there's a real life application for you guys. And now we're going to move on and actually start using our inverse matrices, okay, to solve equations. So at the bottom of your page you see this example. We're going to basically plug it into our system. We're going to take our coefficients from our system of equations, and we're going to put them into our first matrix. Okay? Alright, then we're going to put our variables, x and y, and we're going to put them into their own little matrix. On the other side of the equal sign, we're going to put in our constant numbers, 20 and 16. We're going to put those into a 2x1 matrix on the right side of the equation, on the other side of the equal sign. Okay? This is what you call a matrix equation. Okay. It's an equation, so we're going to solve it just like all other equations that we've solved before using inverse operations or the opposite operations. Well, we just learned that the inverse times itself is basically like 1. Okay? So, in order to get rid of this matrix on the left side to solve for x and y and move it to the other side just like we would do normally, we've got to multiply it by its inverse. Okay? So when we do that, okay, these two things cancel out, okay, but we've got to do it to both sides, okay, so you'll see that now I have x and y is equal to the matrix 5, 7, 3, and 5 to the negative 1 times 20 and 16. So I've got a 2x2 matrix inverse multiplied by a 2x1 matrix. Okay, So that's what you call an inverse matrix equation. Okay, so we found the matrix equation, then it's inverse. Okay, then you simply put our first matrix into A. Okay, put the second one, the 2 by 1, into B, and then you just type in your calculator, just like I'm writing here. Okay, A to the -1 times B equals, and you will get your answer. Okay, -3 and 5 in this case. Okay, now you do not have to go through all of these steps every time. It's important that you understand why the inverse is used. Okay, but you don't have to go through and show this canceling out every time. Understand why, but you can start from the inverse matrix equation every time. So, and I'll show you how to do that on our next example. Okay, so looking at number 6, I'm going to take my coefficients in front of x and y, okay, because I have two variables, and I'm going to plug them into my inverse matrix on the right hand side. So this is going to be A, it's going to be 3, -2, 6, -5. Okay, to the net, and there's my inverse. And then I'm going to multiply that by 5 and 14. Okay, and I'm going to make that B. So I'm going to put A, which is a 2 by 2, and I'm going to put B into my calculators and simply multiply the inverse, multiply them together, A to the -1 times B, and I should get my answer as -1, -4. Okay, very easy, guys. Very, very easy. Okay, now look at our example on number 7. I actually have 3 variables this time, x, y, and z. So x, y, and z is still the same. I'm going to create my inverse matrix. Okay. And I'm going to multiply it by my constants, which are 5, 4, and -3. Okay. And I should get -1, -2, and 3. Okay. Same thing. Remember, guys, in your matrices, all of your x's must be in the same column, all of your y's in the same column, and all of your z's in the same column. If I had any of these missing, I would need to fill in a 0 to take their place. Okay. Last example, number 8. Okay, if I define my passes as x, my popcorn as y, okay, my DVDs at z, then I'm going to write my 3 equations. Okay. And then I can simply use the same method of solving my system, okay, as I have been, using the same inverse matrices. Okay, so we can even solve word problems this way. So go ahead, put that in your calculator, give it a try, and check your answers, which you should find that the passes are $7, the popcorn is $1.50, and your DVDs are $20, which is very expensive. So guys, today, make sure that you are showing your work, writing out your equations. Should be a very easy lesson, and you have the rest of the class to get it done. You also have a test next time you see me on basic matrix operations, multiplying, dividing, and adding and subtracting and multiplying, and then on inverse matrices, and that's it. That's all your test will cover. Have a great weekend, guys.